fair to say that I have acclimated to the temperature here. I'm actually a little chilly. I could actually have on a sweatshirt right now. And it is 88 degrees. Town door. That means I have acclimated to the temperature. I've been over in Southeast Asia for 6 weeks. And when I got here, it was in the 90s. Some days it was 95, 96. And I was hot than a mom. And I obviously have acclimated. So when I get back to the United States, which is, I'm hearing it's roughly 55, 60, 70, maybe on a good day, brother's gonna be in a coat. I'm gonna be freezing my ass off. It's amazing how the body just adjusts and adapts. But I'm actually a little chilly. I got on flip-flops, shorts, t-shirt, and I had to check. I said, it's gotta be 70. 88 degrees. Now, it's cloudy today. It's cloudy. But still, god damn. But I'm loving it. Could I do this? I saw a video, a real popular Filipina. In fact, the title of her thing is the Filipina Pea. She's real famous on YouTube, and she's from here. Let me stop my timer. I had a timer for 45 minutes, just in case I fell asleep. And she says, her title was, "Is it time to move from the Philippines?" And her audience is mostly people, men from around the world, looking to come to the Philippines for whatever their reasons are. And so I thought that was going to be interesting, so I watched it. And as I usually do, she's really popular, so I watched it. And she was making a lot of great points. So for the folks that are thinking about coming here, you better make sure that you know exactly your reason that you're coming here. And yeah, know why you're coming here. Everybody comes here for different reasons. I'm here because I've been familiar with the Philippines since my first time here 40 years ago, almost 41 now, years ago, when I came 19 years old for vacation. And when I came here for the first time, when I was stationed in Guam, I came over for vacation here at the suggestion of my chiefs and senior chiefs and people that were older than me. They said, you might want to go to the Philippines instead of going back to the United States. And I said, oh, okay, where's the Philippines? You know, I'm young, don't know. They said, oh, I said, he said, is it okay to go by myself? I said, oh yeah, you'll have a good time. And I said, all right. So they said, catch a MAC flight, $10 on a military airlift. And that's a whole story in itself. I'd love to tell that story one day. But anyway, I got over here and I was here for 30 days. 30 days. 19 years old. A year before that, coming out of high school. Well, actually, I was in college, and I dropped out of college and then came into the Navy. And to think that I was in the Philippines, 19 years old, with all that, just, it's like a jungle. It was just, but I was in, it was like my thing was heaven. The reason I really liked it so much is because, not only because of the partying, and you know, at that time I was drinking, so that was plentiful. I was by myself, but I made a lot of friends, you know, lady friends, and lost my train of thought. And yeah, I was here for 30 days, and I was staying. I initially started in one of the air crew. A brother let me stay at his place while he was doing flight. You know, he was working. I'm on vacation. He let me stay at his place until I finally told him. I said, man, I found some places out on the economy off the base, you know, real cheap hotels, and I basically was chilling with. I'm being truthful, y'all. I'm being straight up and truthful. I was chilling with different women at their places now that I would meet in a club, and hanging out with them. I'm trying to think, did I ever get? No, I never stayed on the. I never stayed on the base other than with him initially, or at his barracks. But yeah, I was out there 30 days. And that's why, so I was here for 30 days initially and loved everything about it. That's what I was gonna say. What made me like it so much was because of the humidity and the heat and just the city of it. You know, I grew up in the city. I grew up in Baltimore, and I always loved the humid, real hot, humid summers. There's just something about it, just the thick air, and it was like that here. Even though it was tropical, it was still really, really humid at night, and it was just maybe the smells, everything about it. And maybe that's the poverty of it. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a whole science to it. But that area, in that time, Olongapo, even though it's a poor country, there are rich people here now. Don't get that twisted. But it is a poor country, and that was poverty. That was like the hood, and I think that I gravitated to that too. So anyway, I knew what I was getting into when I decided. I said, when I retire, you know, because I was already thinking where I'm not going to live in the United States. I was already saying that, and I had been traveling all over the world, different places to see how it would fit. You know, learned a new language, even took up Spanish. And I was hanging out in the Dominican Republic a lot. I used to call Dominican Republic my second home. And I've been all over the Dominican Republic, all the coasts. Then my next place was Brazil. Hung out in Brazil for, I want to say it was a week, maybe 10 days. But the thing with Brazil was, yeah, it's like it. What you hear about, yeah, it's like that. But the language barrier, they speak Portuguese, and that's a little different than Spanish, and I wasn't willing to take on another language. So then I started hanging out in Colombia. Started in Medellin. No, my first place in Colombia was Cali, C-A-L-I, Cali, Colombia. You ever heard of the Cali cartel? Yeah. So hung out there for one time, and then I started falling in love with Medellin. And I've been to Medellin, I can't count how many times. And then of course Mexico, I've been all over the world. Then I went to Spain, again, because I had learned the language, and hung out in Madrid for about a week, just to see what that was like. That was a no-go, because it was basically being here, not here, but being in the United States, because it's Europeans. I was trying to basically escape that, you know. And then I started coming back. Then that fateful trip that I was taking to. I was going to go to Bangkok. That was my dream place to go to Bangkok. Even though I'd been to Thailand in the Navy, I'd never been to Bangkok. And so that's when my life, second time that it changed. But that was the second time that it changed. When I was going to. That's a whole nother story. That requires over an hour of talking. But anyway, so then I started going, after I recovered from all that, then I started going to, I never made it to Bangkok on that trip. So then I started going to the Philippines again. And it was different, of course, because in fact, I started going back to where I went initially, Olongapo. And of course, 40 years later, it's not even anywhere comparable to what it was before. Nothing about it. And so it was just like a new place to me. You know, it was just all new again. And that feeling, that fever that I had for how it was then, it's like what they say, Steely Dan says in the song "Chasing the Dragon." You know, that's a slogan that comes from the time when heroin was a big deal during the jazz scene back in the day. Chasing the dragon was heroin, and the whole idea is about the slogan is once you take that initial hit, you'll never be as high again as you were from that first hit. A lot of people don't know that. That's any narcotic. You take it the first time, it's total euphoria. You just on cloud 20. But you'll never get that feeling like that again. You get high, but you'll never get that feeling again. And it's called chasing the dragon. And so I've been chasing the dragon. Literally, all my life. I've been chasing the dragon, looking for that scene that I found at 19 years old in Olongapo. Now, it's nothing like that here anymore. There's no place, and I've been all over the Philippines, not everywhere, of course. There are thousands of islands. But I've been to all the scenes where that kind of activity is happening, and it's nothing will ever compare to how it was back then. Never, ever. I can never see it going like that, simply because of the policies that they have in place now. And they have different districts now that are designated places for that kind of activity. But again, it just can't compare. You know why? Here's why it can't compare. This is why it cannot compare. Because the only people that go to those places now are tourists. And no shade on that, you know. People would put me in that category, but I'm mature. I'm older now. I'm way more mature than I was back in the day. So it's a whole different kind of scene now. So when I'm on that scene, it does not compare. So I'm really, I don't even hang out at those kinds. I changed my whole motif, my whole what do they call it? My what is that? Not my motif. What is it? My operating procedures. I can't remember how it's Latin for those. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Put it in my comments if you want to help me out. But so I changed that, and now, even though those places exist, there's only a couple of them around the Philippines. Specifically, I'll tell you where they are. Up in Pampanga. I'm not going to name the city. You can look it up yourself. Pampanga and over in Manila. Now, I'm in Quezon City. Now, they do have, it's so many different, that's a whole nother video in and of itself. So you can still get into what you're trying to get into, but it will never, ever be like it was back in the early 80s. And people that were, you know, before I got over there, I'd say the late 70s, because before that it was the Vietnam War. And the Vietnam War, that's where they would send the troops to go have fun, right? R&R. That's why it was set up and built the way it was. And so when I got there in the early 80s, Vietnam was not that much, you know, it was right on the edge. It was right on the edge, because they shut down Subic in 91, I think, 92. And I got out of the Navy in 89. Okay? So now, the only place that I've been, and there's a whole bunch of places in the world, but the closest I've seen to that kind of scene, to that flavor, is in Thailand. And even in Thailand, they have special places, special districts where that scene is, right? They have special places. So it can never be, again, you got tourists that come there. It'll never, ever be how it was in Subic Bay, Olongapo. In Subic, we call it. Pea. We used to just say, we're going to the Pea, Philippine Islands. And here's why. Because back then, I was in the 7th Fleet. I was on the Blue Ridge out of Japan. Japan's forward deployed 7th Fleet overseas, Japan. And my ship would come there so regularly that people, even the elderly people that are my age now, that are here, that are in Olongapo, still remember the name Blue Ridge. That's how often my ship used to go there. So even after when I went there on my own out of Guam, when I flew over on vacation, when I went to my ship, the Blue Ridge, the folks that I had been hanging with on my own excursion over there, they all still knew me. So when I walked in the clubs with my new friends, my new shipmates, they were all, hey. And they were like, dude, they know you? And I'm like, man, you know, back then you all cocky and everything. Yeah, man, of course they know me, man. I'm a superstar, man. I'm a star in this town, you know, because I had the run of it at that time. I was pretty much there by myself. I wasn't. That's what I'm going to allude to right now. The reason that they knew me so well, because I was there for 30 days and I was a regular. So they got to see my face every single day and got to know me as a person every single day. I didn't do anything else. I was just over there to 19 years old. What's somebody do at 19? So, but the reason it'll never be like that again is because of the sailors and Marines and any other military folks that slide through there, but mostly Navy. And at any given time, they knew the people that worked in the Olongapo, they knew the ship's schedules better than us. They knew when we would be coming back before and I was in ops, and they knew our ship's movement better than we did. In fact, if we pulled, the reason I would know that we would be leaving a certain date is because I was in ops. But they would know, all the other sailors on the ship that would know when we would be leaving. We'd just pull in, and that's all they knew. It's like the boats' mates. Anybody didn't have anything to do with ops. They would know when we were going to get underway. The folks out in Olongapo, the ladies, they knew exactly when we were getting underway. It was amazing. So what made it so lively was because it was sailors in town. And every time a ship pulled in, you got a whole new group of sailors. So it's all new to them, coming from San Diego, you know, coming from Hawaii. And it was absolutely a jungle. I always relate it to like a jungle, just a madhouse. I mean, the scene was unlike any. Vegas can't compare. Ibiza can't compare. All these big party, Rio can't compare. All these big party places around the world, nothing can compare to a whole bunch of sailors coming into a small town where that town would know that the ships moved, knew when the fleet was coming in, so they would have. Let me break it down to y'all so y'all know. I'm going to give y'all some stuff. Maybe y'all don't care, maybe y'all don't want to know, but I'm going to break it down to you. They would bring busloads of women down from Manila. And at that time, I had never been to Manila. At that time. So I had because it was really a generalization on my part, but I had a idea, and I didn't have an idea. I had a preconceived notion of what the Philippine women look like. And now when I was just down there a week and a half ago, when I was talking to one of the young ladies down there that time, she had like my complexion. And I asked her, I said, I know I'm getting off topic. I'll get back on topic real quick here, but hold on a second. I asked her, I said, where'd you get that brown hue from? And she says, you know, they call them morenos, like they call them in the DR, morenos, which is brown skin, you know, black. And she says, this is how I look. And in my mind, I'm automatically saying, because of all the sailors that were in and out over I guess at that, so that 40, 50, 60 years at that point, starting with Vietnam. But it wasn't that. But that area, she told me, I asked her, I said, where can I find the brownish skin Filipinos that look like you? And she says, well, in this area, Olongapo. I said, oh, okay, because I didn't know. But it wasn't because of the sailors. Some of you will see some, you can say, yeah, that's a sister right there. But mostly it's because of the indigenous people that are the indigenous people of the Philippines. The indigenous people of the Philippines are Negritos, Negros. A lot of people don't know that. The Spaniards came over here and then put all that other stuff up in here. And the Americans that colonized here also put all that stuff up. And then the Japanese put all that. So I cannot, like, I'm looking around now. If I looked at one, I wouldn't be able to tell you whether that person was from Singapore, Korea. Now I can tell usually generally by the way they walk. It's a little gait that these folks have here. But that's a whole nother topic. Let's get back on point. So the sailors coming in to Olongapo, so whenever the Blue Ridge would come in, and we had new recruits on board. I was on there for 3 years. It was, now imagine, I'm on the Blue Ridge for 3 years, and I would say that we pulled into the Philippines on average annually, I would say, so keep this in mind, every time we pulled out to go south into the South China Sea, we'd always pull into the Philippines, because the Admiral, 7th Fleet Admiral, loved the Philippines. And he loved going in the wintertime to get out of Japan because it was cold. So we were all in the game. All sailors are sailors, from the Admiral all the way down to the Seaman recruit. A sailor is a sailor, and sailors like the same, all sailors like the same stuff. So in this case, I would say all men like the same stuff. So anyway, so we made up, I would say on average, 6 times a year. It probably was more, because whenever we pull in, we go to Okinawa first. Then from Okinawa, we go to the Philippines. Hang out in the Philippines, then go other places, Singapore, Thailand, all these other places, Indonesia, Jakarta, Singapore. Come back, and always on the way back, we'd stop in the Philippines on the way back. And then we stop in Hong Kong on the way back to Japan. It was always coming back. We would always stop in the Philippines, from the Philippines to Hong Kong, then from Hong Kong back to Yokosuka. So I'm telling you all this history, and I know it started with the Filipina Pea, because she was right. So I'm now acclimated. I have a real good handle on the Philippines, okay, and what's going on. And could I live here for the rest of my life? Absolutely. And because I realize now, I've been all over the different places, not all over, I've been everywhere in the Philippines, but I've been to enough places now to get a general idea that if I want to live here, like for instance, I am right in the city of Quezon City. I'm right in the city, okay? I'm on a property that makes me look like I'm at a park somewhere, but I'm right smack dab in the middle of the city. I love it because I grew up in the city. So anything I want, I can literally walk over there to the turnabout, catch a ride, and go anywhere. The mall's right down the road, the mall that direction, the mall that direction, mall that direction. I can go anywhere I want, all these different shops, and you got everything. McDonald's, Dunkin', the Burger King, Wendy, those are American things, but then you got all the local things too. You got Subway, you got everything. And then the light rail runs right past my front gate here. So I can walk 5 minutes to get on the light rail and then go shoot into downtown Makati. So that aspect of it, I know that I can stay where I am. I've been here on this property for the last week and a half, with the exception of going to the grocery store. And I'm fine. Because not only do I have this area to hang out, I can hang out in my condo, I can hang out up on the roof deck, which is also like a park. I work out on the roof deck. That's where I run and do my exercises. They do have a gym. They do have a convenience store that's in the basement, actual convenience store in the basement. Everything is right here. This is a community, it's a village within itself. And I'm more than happy because nobody knows me. I mean, people see me, but they don't know me. It's like a town, a big town. My point is this, back to the Filipina Pea. If you come over here looking for whatever, if you're looking for marriage, looking for hook up with a Filipino, can you find it? Absolutely. There are millions of women over here that are available. And they're not all looking for people like me, people, you know, they're looking for their own type. But there's more than enough here to take care of what any, you could send a gazillion, you could send a million dudes over here and it's still, it you just swallow them up because it's so large. There's thousands of islands. So let me get back on that point. So I know that I can leave here, keep this place as my home, and go live other places around the Philippines at a month at a time, a week at a time, however long I want. That's what, and then I can be picky and choosy. Do I want to go be in a beach town? Do I want to go to another city? Do I want to go in the mountains, which I've been, like I said, I've been all over to test the waters. So I went up to Baguio. It's like I said, it's 88 degrees right now. Feels like it's 70 because of my body's acclimated to the temperature, the hot over here. Up there, it's in the 60s. I'd be freezing my ass off up there right now because it's in the mountains. Or I want to go down south. Or I want to go see the big mountainsides. Everybody's situation is different. I'm fortunate enough that I was able to purchase my place outright, own it outright. Only thing I pay is homeowners association and electric, and all that I paid in advance. So for the year I paid my homeowners association in advance. That cost me $400 for the whole year. Some places, like where I live in the States, $400 is per month for my home. To show you the difference, that's a perfect example. My condo in the States, I paid $400 a month for homeowners association dues. Here, for the whole year, it's $400. That's why I'm over here. So, let's get back on topic. So the guys coming over here looking for somebody to hook up with, yes, it's here. But you best believe that it's not going to be how it was for you in the States. These folks, they're different. They're more family oriented. If you hook up, you best believe you're going to meet the family. And if you end up marrying her, you're marrying the family. That's like a given. Even though people talk about it all the time on these videos and YouTube and whatnot, folks, they better understand that's a reality. And I've heard all kind of stories, all kind of horror stories about things and how they can go wrong. Okay? So keep that in mind. I probably will never get married, ever. Because I can't afford it. And when I say I can't afford it, that doesn't mean I can't afford to take care of myself. I can take care of myself. I can't take care of another person though. Another human being. And then that other human being might have a child, 2 children. And then remember, it's not just them, she's got a whole family too. So that Filipina Pea, she's right. Work it out, come over here, hang out for a little bit. Like this trip, I've been here for 6 weeks. Literally, it feels like I've been here for 6 months. I mean, really, I'm ready to go home, back. And the only reason I'm ready to go back is because of Mr. Boots. I need to hang out with my man, my cat. And then I'll be back over here. I made a point of saying until 62, until my official retirement, you know, in terms of Social Security, I'm going to come over here twice a year. I just made that up, and I only got 2 more years. So this is the first of this year. So that means I'm gonna do this one more time this year, 2 more times at 61, and then at 62, it'll be 2 times at 62. And then at that time, I'll make that decision on whether I'm gonna stay here permanent and keep my place over there and rent it out. Because truth be told, I don't think I should ever get rid of my property in the United States. It's an investment, a big time investment, worth a lot of money. So I think only in such an emergency would I get rid of that. That'd be the only reason. I mean, shit would really have to have hit the fan for me to get rid of that. Other than that, I'll hold on to it, rent it out, and depend on how much I'm making. I'm putting it into the universal consciousness. I plan on making so much money that it's just gonna be a thing. I'll have a place there, and I'll have a place here, and I come back and forth freely. Which I've been doing now since I retired, and it's only hurting me just a little bit. Right now I have accrued, I'm not going to tell you how much I've accrued in debt, but the only reason that has happened is because of my retiring early. I got penalized for that, 1, and then 2, medical things that have happened to me, which they say you better account for when you retire early. I'm just starting to get warm. I'm just starting to get a little warm. It is 88 degrees. And maybe because I'm talking so much. And where are we at? We're at 32 minutes. I'm gonna cut it now. I'm gonna cut it down. I'm gonna cut it. But to end this, if you want to live here, I would say it's a great idea. But just know what you're getting yourself into. And my suggestion is to come over here, hang out. A week is not enough. Going to the happy places is not enough. It's not enough. You need to be like the place where I am, living within the community. And this is considered, I would say this is considered for the Philippines middle class, right on the edge of upper middle class, because it has all the amenities here. But we're right basically in the middle of a metropolitan area. So the hoods are all around us, right? They're all around us. So try to do that, because you can get, people have Airbnbs over here. Try that. Stay away from those districts that I was telling you about. There's only one here in Manila. There's only one area, okay? People talk about 2, but it's really the same area. Stay away from there if you're trying to get the flavor. So I'm saying go do that, have a little fun, hang out at the club and whatnot, and then get away from that and be here. I would say be here in country minimum 1 month, minimum, and travel around the Philippines. Get on the ferries and go to the different islands and just get a feeling for it before you think about moving here permanently. Now, fortunately, which she talked about it on her video too, the Filipina Pea. There's a visa program in place. It's a tourist visa that I think she said it's now every 60 days they have to go renew it. And it used to always be like that, right? And it's the same thing like over in Thailand. But I'm here on a military, SRRV visa, right? And because of the relationship that the Philippines has with the United States. So it's a special visa. My visa is permanent. Did I have to do a whole bunch for it? Yep, I surely did. And so much like the FBI, Interpol, you guys heard of Interpol, the ones that look for, that police the world, like the FBI. I had to put my application, I had to go through them. My passport had to stay here at the embassy here for like 4 weeks. Through the processing. So I'm like a citizen, and I have a visa for the rest of my life. Got it right here. So my case is a little different because I'm a veteran. So keep that in mind. Do that homework. So she was right. She was right about some people, they come over here and think it's all what they see on these YouTubers and all that, those vloggers. And that's for any of these countries. Like here, Thailand, Vietnam. Now you see a lot of them for Bali, Indonesia. I've been to Indonesia a couple times. In fact, I went for my job down there we were there for, I want to say 6 weeks. It was a pretty long time. And I wouldn't want to live in Indonesia. Again, language barrier. Again, because it's a Muslim country. It's a lot of things. Just make sure you do your own due diligence. You may love Indonesia. It may be the right thing for you. They also have a big city, Jakarta, which is much like here. You get lost in Jakarta's huge. Look it up. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Now we're pushing to 36 minutes. We're gonna have to make this 2 different videos, I think. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be just one big long one. And I'll see you guys in another video. I'm sitting out here. What time is it? It is 10 minutes to 3. I'm gonna order a pizza, an individual pizza with cheese in the crust. Treat myself before I leave this country from Pizza Hut. That's another thing I did this time. I've been cooking my food a lot. Cook my own food, got my own place, right? And I treat myself every once in a while. I'll order out, but I'm ordering from places that I'm real familiar with from all the times that I've been here, and I'm pretty sure, based on what I've been ordering, that I've narrowed it down to places where I just won't order because it's made me sick before, and so far I haven't had any kind of stomach issues with the food. All right, I'll see you guys in another video.